A word on Sig Figs. If you are converting between units within the same system, the conversion factors are all set by definition, therefore exact, and will not affect Sig Figs. So metric to metric, English to English, these are all going to be exact conversion factors. However, when you're going between metric and English, the conversion factors are measured and they may affect Sig Figs. There is one important exception, and that is an inch is exactly 2.54 centimeters. So this conversion will not affect Sig Figs in your answer. In this first problem, we're going between quarts and liters. So we look at our conversion sheet and we find the conversion factor between quarts and liters. This identity allows us to set up two different conversion factors, and note on each of these conversion factors that this number associated with liters stays with liters. In our work, we're going to be careful to always keep the appropriate number of Sig Figs and the unit of any measured number from the question statement. That's going to help us consistently get significant figures correctly. So 33.00 quarts is going to be multiplied by some conversion factor. We want to choose the conversion factor that cancels out units of quarts and do the indicated math. Our indicated math is 33.00 multiplied by 0.94635. Remember, numbers in the top in the numerator indicate multiplication. Those in the bottom indicate division. We have our calculator answer. Now we worry about Sig Figs. This number has 4 Sig Figs. Those 2 zeros are trailing zeros in the number with a decimal point, therefore they count as significant. This 0 is not significant because it is a leading 0. So we have a number with 4 Sig Figs multiplied by a number with 5 Sig Figs. Therefore, we're going to be limited to 4 Sig Figs. The first number to be dropped is greater than 5, so we add 1 to the preceding decimal column. We get our final answer as 31.23 liters. Be certain that you write your final answer with the right number of Sig Figs and to include units. For this next problem, we again refer to the conversion sheet to get the identity that helps us convert between miles and feet. Now this identity can be used to write two different conversion factors. We continue by writing down the measured number from the question statement and choose an appropriate conversion factor. We want to cancel out units of miles, so we want the conversion factor for which miles is in the denominator. So we have a mile is equivalent to 5,280 feet. We do the math that's indicated, which is multiplication, 60 times 5,280. So here we have our calculator answer. Now we worry about Sig Figs. Looking back, you see this number has 3 Sig Figs. These trailing zeros count as significant because they're in a number with a decimal point. This is an exact conversion factor because it is an English to English conversion factor. So we're limited to 3 Sig Figs in our final answer. We need to write this answer in scientific notation. We note that we're going to have to move the decimal point 5 spaces, and therefore our exponent is going to be 5. This number is greater than 1, so it's a positive 5. Now we'll write our coefficient such that it only has 3 Sig Figs. So we're going to have to round up. Our final answer is 3.17 times 10 to the 5th feet. This next problem. We are going between inches and centimeters. We go to our conversion sheet and see that an inch is 2.54 centimeters. And even though it is an English to metric conversion, this is the one example, English to metric, for which the conversion factor is an exact number. So this conversion factor will not affect the sig figs of the final answer. We write down the measured number from the question statement, and we know we want to cancel out units of inches. So we choose the conversion factor for which inches is in the denominator. We have an inch is equivalent to 2.54 centimeters. So now our units of inches cancel. We do the multiplication that's indicated, and we have our calculator answer. Now we go back and worry about sig figs. This number has 5 sig figs. This is exact. It's not going to impact sig figs. So we want to write this number with 5 sig figs. To do that, we're going to have to add a 0 to the end of the number. And we have our final answer of 86.360 centimeters. The correct answer with units and the correct number of sig figs. In our next problem here, we're going between grams and pounds. So we look up on our conversion sheet and find that a pound is equivalent to 453.59 grams. We can write two different conversion factors. Again, note this number stays together with the unit grams. We go back, we write down the measured number from the question statement. We see that we have to cancel out units of grams. So we're going to multiply by the conversion factor that has grams in the denominator. We have our calculator answer, and we need to worry about sig figs. 3 sig figs, 5 sig figs, so our answer should have 3 sig figs. So the leading 0 doesn't count. 1, 2, 3. The first number to be dropped is less than 5, so we round down. Our final answer is 0.586 pounds.